Guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm here with my 2006 Mercedes SLK 350. I picked it up from the detailer on Tuesday and it was looking really good, so I listed it for sale because I said I was going to sell it in 30 days. I got a couple of hits pretty immediately. I had one guy come out and drive it, ultimately ended up buying another car, and then I had another kid call and we worked out a deal. And so he came to pick up the car last night, drove the car with his dad, gave me the money, paperwork was signed, everything was great. And if you've been buying and selling cars or just kind of ever bought cars or sold a car private party, you might have run into this, but the guy gives me the cash. I'm going inside, the cash is in my safe, paperwork is signed, he is driving away, he gets in the car will not pull into gear. Comes back, knocks on my door, says, hey, the car is not working. I was like, what do you mean the car's not working? Because he had taken it for a test drive and everything was fine, they loved it. So I'm gonna try to figure this out because he left me a deposit, said I want the car, but you got to get this fixed. And I agree, I should get this fixed. But so close to being done with this car and having a great result. But now we got to fix the issue. So let's take a look what's going on. Yesterday, before the guy was coming to look at the car, I started the car in my garage, and when I attempted to back out of the garage, I noticed that the car would not shift into gear. So it will shift, but nothing will change. I turned the car off, turned it back on, shifted, fine, no problem, drove around. The guy came, he drove the car for a test drive, everything was great. Literally, this showed up when he was about to drive away. So I'm gonna start the car. Now you notice the check engine light has come on, which was not on earlier. And then when we go to shift the car into drive, and then hit the gas, nothing happens. So if we try to go to reverse, nothing happens. So basically, the car's not shifting. Now I've run this code, and the code says lost communication to TMC. I think it's TMC, or module, yeah. So which is the transmission module control, something like that. Anyways, I believe it's some sort of wiring connection, or possibly some sort of, I'm not really sure, but something is telling the car that it's not in gear. And I don't know exactly what that is. And unfortunately, it can be a bit of a wild goose chase, but we are gonna try to find out. The first thing we're gonna do is take the battery, unconnect it, and then reconnect it and see if that clears anything. I could not clear this code, is another issue. I thought maybe if I cleared it, it'd be okay. So we're gonna unconnect the battery, see if that works first, and then figure it out from there. We're running the code for our check engine light, and you can see that the second one is lost communication with TCM, and that is our issue, the transmission control module, I believe. Now if I try to cancel this to see if that will reset anything, I didn't have any luck doing that. So usually these things will reset, but this one is here. I just took the battery, unconnected the battery and reconnected it, and that did not solve the problem. Not that I thought it would. See, it's giving me a fail. So we're back to square one here. And the car is parked on the street in my neighborhood, which is fine, but it's raining. I just had a detail. I really want to get back in my garage. But I got to figure out how to get this thing to shift into gear, so stay tuned. Well, it's about a week later from our previous update, and my daughter and I here on our way to Mercedes-Benz in Plano. Now, why are we going to the dealer? As you know, I tend to try to do most things myself, and I definitely don't go to the dealer. I couldn't tell you the last time I actually took a vehicle into a dealer for repair. Normally I would either do myself or go to an independent. Well, doing a little bit more research on this problem, the engine code said that it couldn't communicate with the transmission control module. So I started looking into it. There's a way to reset that TCM. That didn't work. You know, possibly pulling some fuses. That didn't work. And I started calling around, and first I called my independent, Baker Automotive, and they said, yeah, I don't think there's anything we can do. You might want to go to a transmission shop. They referred me to a transmission shop. I called them, explained the issue. They said, you know, we just don't have the software to fix that kind of issue. They're like, you probably got to go to the dealer. So I talked to my buddy who had bought the car. He reluctantly said, yeah, let's just take it to the dealer. It's the only option we did. So we paid $150 to tow it up to Mercedes-Benz in Plano for them to check it out. And it pretty much came back, not the worst case scenario, but worst case scenario 1B essentially. So The issue was one of the control units in the valve body in the transmission, in the actual transmission, was bad and not communicating. So they checked all the grounds, there was no shorts, all the wiring, and they basically had to drop the transmission pan, and replace this entire unit. And the total cost was around $2,500. So I think the only worst case scenario would be if we had to replace the entire transmission, which I'm not sure we would have actually done that, but this is probably the second worst. So anyways, the vehicle is finished. Now, fortunately, my buyer is still very much interested in the car. And, you know, we kind of had to say, listen, we're going to have to throw a bunch of money into this. We really would normally just relist this for a higher price. But if you're still interested, maybe we can work on a deal. You know, he agreed to pay a little bit more than what we originally discussed, but certainly not enough to recoup our cost on this car. So fortunately, you know, we bought the car at a good price at auction, put some money into it as far as the detail, and now put money into this transmission fix, so that we're gonna come out pretty much a scratch. Maybe we'll make a few $100, but really pretty much it's a wash. And you know, I was kind of beat up because we were so close to making a decent profit on this car. And my buddy said, you know, he basically sells cars for a living in his place in Kansas City, and he's like, you know, when you deal in used cars like I do, this is just part of the game. And he's right. And I think we're fortunate to come out as pretty much a wash. That being said, I have not actually made the transaction, so there's any number of things could happen, but I'm hoping that once I get the title and deliver the car, that we're pretty much done and just move on to the next one. So we're gonna go close the deal. All right, guys, that is a wrap on the SLK 350. The buyer showed up, we completed the deal, everything went fine. He was very, very patient. He really wanted the car, so it worked out really good for him. You know, maybe we made a couple $100, if that. Really, it's gonna just kind of pay for the trouble. This YouTube channel does not make any money, so I don't have enough money to throw around on hoopties like, say, Hoovie's Garage, and just lose money on everything. So I got to continue to try to actually make money on cars. So now this puts us at only 2 Mercedes, and the next one to go is going to be the E55. That's going to be on the chopping block here soon. So I'm going to finish up the seat on that one, and we're going to put that for sale, maybe on Cars and Bids. So stay tuned for that. But I appreciate you guys watching. Like, subscribe, comment if you want to see me tackle another car. Just lately it's been Mercedes, whatever kind of comes up. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.